All right, welcome to the Acumatica Developer Webinar Series. This is the third in the series, New Features and Customization Projects Editor. Dmitry Namov will be giving the presentation. We also have Ruslan Devyatko, who will help answer questions, and my name is Mark Franks. I'm the Platform Evangelist out of the Bellevue office. So without further ado, Dmitry, go ahead and take it away.
Great, thanks, Mark. Hello, everyone. Today, we will talk about our existing certification guidelines that are there for 19R2 version. After that, we will talk about new features that we have added in 19R1. And after that, we will talk about new certification requirements in 19R1, and after that, of course, we will answer your questions. So, as you know, we are working very intense on our ISV certification program, and I will be focused today on ISV specific needs and tools that makes their life easier. So first of all, let me start from 18R2 certification. As you probably know, we released that new certification guidelines for 18R2 version of Acumatica, and let me just demonstrate it to you, just in case you do not know that. So if you go to portal.acumatica.com, partner program and solution certification, you will find that certification guidelines. And right now we have guidelines for 18R1 and 18R2. And after we release 19R1 version, we will have 19R1 and 18R2. So if you click this certification guidelines, you will see that we have full description of the certification process. So overview, requirements, how to submit your certification case, everything is here. So this is very useful document, helps you to complete your certification faster. Okay, so another useful thing that we already have is a Acumatica tool. And for those who do not know what that is, let me demonstrate it. We have that Acumatica tool released, I believe 9 months ago or so. So you can find it in the Visual Studio Marketplace. It's actually a Visual Studio extension that helps you to write your Acumatica specific code without common mistakes. So it's just a static code analysis tool that you can install in your Visual Studio, and it will help you to avoid common mistakes that that you may have in your project. Okay, so and these are things that we already have. And starting from 19R1, we have several new things in place to help you complete your certification easier. So first of all, we have that C# 7.0 support in the customization manager screen. So as you know, in that customization manager, if you try to put something like that in 19R2 version in the code editor, you will not be able to publish that because it uses new features of C# 7.0. For instance, it has using static. It has lambda for properties. It has some strings placeholders and null comparison. So all that features are not supported right now in 18R2 code editor, but in 19R1 it is supported. So you can, let me refresh that first. Yeah. So in 19R1 you can use full C# 7.0 language to write your code in that code editor. So as you see, here we have some example. So I can publish it and it will be published successfully without any errors. Well, syntax highlighting is not that good, but well, it is working. So no more copying code from Visual Studio and then cleaning up all that new C# features that you can use in Visual Studio and can't in that code editor. You can just use the same features right now from that code editor. So another change that we have is new allowed symbols in project name. So it may sound not that big of a deal, but as you can see right now, we have that dots and brackets allowed in the package name, and it allows you to follow that guidelines, certification guidelines. So follow that customization package mask that we force you to follow. Okay, so next feature that will help you to submit your certification case is that project items workbook. So as a part of certification, we require you to complete that Excel workbook. So if we open that appendices here, you'll find solution objects and integration scenarios workbook. And here you see that you have to fill all that tabs here. So data access classes that you add to your solution, references to Acumatica data access classes, push notifications, third-party DLLs, etc. So right now you can use a customization manager to generate that file. So if you open some customization project, you'll find that new export project items workbook button here at the files menu. And after you click it, it will create a workbook that actually contains your data access classes, BLCs, data access class extensions, etc. So still it is not a complete document. You will have to add some sections manually because we can't automate that. But well, still it's a good start. Okay, so another thing that you can do right from that customization manager screen, you can analyze referenced assemblies. So if you click that extension library, analyze referenced assemblies button, you'll get the file with all the assemblies that are used in your project. So as you can see, here we have the complete list. So, and it helps you to avoid some unneeded references and to control them. So, and besides of that, we have a lot of validations added. So first of all, as a part of certification guidelines, we require that your solution follows some naming convention. So every ISV solution should contain ISV solution prefix in all custom objects. For instance, in data access classes, in business logic containers, screens, etc. So let me show you an example. So let's say I have some ISV solution here, and my ISV initials are actually ISV. And let me make it a little bigger so everyone can see it. So I have ISV prefix for Z data access class. I have ASV prefix for Z business logic container, but I don't have that prefix for that custom data access class too. So right now I can quickly validate it. If I click that file and validate project prefix button, it will ask me to first fill that project prefix. I can type any prefix that I get from Acumatica here. In my case, it is ISV, and let's click validate. So as you see, custom data access class 2 does not have that assigned prefix. So that way you can validate that your solution follows our guidelines even before sending it to us. So to avoid that back and forth interaction with Ruslan probably, you can use that tool to validate your solution before you send it to validation. So another validation that we have is that validate highlighted project validation tool. So if I click it, it will run several verifications, and for instance, it will validate that all the tables that I'm adding in scope of that solution and all the data access classes that I'm adding in scope of that solution match each other. So in my case, I have that intended error here. So if we open that project and take a look at database scripts, I have that ISV custom data access class that actually contains only one field. So let's see it in project XML. So as you see, here I have only identity tran ID field. But in my code file, I have more fields. I have tran ID, I have cache account ID, I have customer ID, etc. So that tool will validate that this table declaration matches your data access declaration. And In case it does not, it will throw an error. Okay, so there are a couple more validations inside that validate project, validate highlighted project button. So basically, we recommend you to run this every time when you want to publish your project. So another validation is lookup definitions validation. So you can find it here, lookup definitions. As you can see, this one is runtime validation as long and as these two. And what that means that you have to publish your project before you run that validation. So right now, that validation take some time. So I will not demonstrate it live because it may take some time. But well, I already have some results prepared here. So right now it validates all the assemblies that are there. So ours too. So it will also validate base Acumatica data access classes declaration. And as you see, there are a number of errors here. So if you want to find your specific ones, right now you will have to compare result of existing file with the new one generated after you publish your project, or you just need to find your objects here. So later we will add an ability to upload ignore file, and we add all these errors that are in basic Acumatica to that ignore file. That doesn't mean, of course, that we don't want to fix them. We will fix them, but well, Acumatica is pretty big system and it has a lot of legacy code, so yeah, it may contain some errors right now. So this validation will check your selectors and segmented dimension selector attributes. So it will make sure that you have everything that you need to that selectors and dimension selectors work properly. So the next one is validation of data access class attributes. So this verification will compare your data access class, well, your field attributes between each other, and it will find if you have redundant attributes, and it will show you an error. So right now, Acumatica also supports that validation. So for instance, if you uncomment this, you see Acumatica highlights that attributes, because this customer and this dbInt attribute conflict between each other. So in fact, customer attribute has a pxdbInt attribute inside it. So, and Acumatica will not allow you to have duplicated attributes on your field. So, but what if we add this dbInt attribute in the cache attached of business logic container? So for instance, here I have a simple graph that has some cache attached events. And here I have that merge attributes attribute that will append my PXDB int to that customer ID field. And this becomes too complex to Acumatica to find. But this runtime validation, data access class attributes, will find that violation and will report it to you. Same for data access field types. These data access field types validation will make sure that you do not have wrong field type attribute compared to your C# field type. So for instance, right now, if I comment this pxdb string and uncomment this pxdb int, Acumatica will report that issue. So I have that attribute that does not match that field type, and Acumatica highlights it. However, again, if I do that in the cache attached method of the graph, so right here I replace all the attributes that taxon ID field has by that pxdb int. So Acumatica is not able to find it right now. And this data access class field types validation will report that issue if you have that. It will also check if you have some fields that are not nullable and everything like that. So that's all for new features in 19R1. And let me switch to new requirements that we will introduce as a part of 19R1 ISV certification program. So first of all, C# code inside customization project will be forbidden, and you should keep your code in DLLs only. Another change is that GIs exposed via OData will not be allowed to contain any warnings about potential performance issues. So let me show you an example. So let's take some generic inquiry. Wait until it is loaded. Okay, so you see we have that warning here. So adding this field may lead to performance issues. And for UI generic inquiries that you will use via UI, that is, well, maybe okay, maybe not, but well, still we allow that. But if you expose that via OData and you want to consume that for your, for instance, BI solution, you have to get rid of that before you can certify your solution. Because if you consume a lot of data, it may lead to performance degradation if you have that fields that generate sub-selects, for instance. So it's better to format your generic inquiry that way that it will contain joins instead of sub-selects, and then this warning will go away, and we will be ready to give you the certification badge. Same for sorting. So if you remove that, you'll see that sort also have some warnings, and you will need to get rid of that before you can pass the certification. So another change is that starting from 19R1, names of all data access class extensions must start with the assigned initials. So in 18R2 we have some exceptions for that rule. Starting from 19R1, we do not have any exceptions. Okay, so and these are basically all the changes that we are going to introduce in our certification program. So it will stay almost the same comparing to 18R2 version. So basically, you can prepare your solution to be certified for 19R1 using 18R2 certification guidelines. Just keep in mind these changes. And that's all from my side. Let's get to questions.
All right, thank you. We only have one question right now from Robert Waite. He asked, does the validation feature also work with extension libraries as well, or just class defined, or is the class defined in the customization project?
Actually, it works only with extension libraries. It doesn't work with that classes defined in customization project itself.
Okay, thanks. We've got a couple more questions that came in, so please start, if you have questions, please go ahead and answer, because if we get through them, we're going to end the session a little early. Yuri Zaletsky asked, I didn't get that this part, the C# code will be forbidden only in the DLL. Why then added support in C#7?
Well, first of all, you can still use that C# code in the code editor for your homegrown customizations, for customer-specific customizations, for something like that, right? And for developing, testing, etc. So it is still a useful tool that you can use. But for production quality ISV solutions, we allow only DLLs.
Okay. And then Yuri Zaletsky followed up with the following. Assigned initials mean that Acumatica provide initials, or do I invent them myself?
Acumatica provides you initials, and Acumatica makes sure that initials are unique among other ISVs. So that allows you to not have any conflicts between several customization projects that are installed in one customer instance.
Okay. And then the last question we have, so this is kind of a last...
Can I, Chairman? Sorry,
Sure.
This is Ruslan speaking.
Yeah.
So speaking about the initials, just a quick addition here. Additions are only assigned to ISV solutions. We currently do not consider assigning ISV solution or initials to those projects which are not ISV solutions, right? And to be an ISV solution, you have to be an ADN member of the second level. And when you start working on your solution, it happens either during the onboarding process or when you first say to Acumatica that you would like to build an ISV solution. We would like to get on a quick call with you, assign you the solution code and the solution initials that will be unique to your solution.
Yeah.
So in any matter, this is not something that you come up with. You always need to get in touch with us, and we'll be happy to assign you those two things.
Yeah, that's an important distinction. It's only for ISV ADN level 2 partners. Thank you, Ruslan. Kevin Ma asks, can we still have C# code in the customization plugin? Because plugins only work with codes, not DLLs. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Ruslan, can you answer that?
Yes, that is the right way how you will create all of your datax class extensions, and same applies to VLC extensions as well. So for sales order entry, for example, this would be MY, if MY is my initials, SO order entry, EXT, for example. This is how you would call it. For the complete list of what you should start with your initials, please refer to the certification guideline, the document that Dmitry showed us in the beginning of this call. And one other thing to mention about this runtime validation that also Dmitry showcased on this session is right now what Dmitry showed is what we currently have in the latest 19R1 beta. Hopefully for the RTM build or in one of the updates, we'll add an option to run the validation tool twice. So with the first run, you will be capturing the standard, all those validation or runtime errors that Acumatica still contains in its out-of-the-box configuration. And the second run, you will be able to launch it against the text file that you captured with the first run. So it will automatically allow you to filter or sort out your solution-specific errors with those errors that you inherit from Acumatica standard package. And this is also very important when we think about dependent IC solutions or dependent customizations. When, for example, you build your solution on top of Acumatica service module or on top of Acumatica manufacturing edition. In this case, you will first run the runtime validation test against Acumatica with manufacturing edition package installed, and then you will install your customization on top of this and run those validation tools once again.
Okay.
Ruslan, and can you please answer that about customization plugin? Will it still be available, allow it to in the C# code, or will it be only allow it in DLLs?
The customization plugin, to my knowledge, work identical whether it's present in the code file section of the customization package, or it is compiled in the DLL. That's why we would still enforce you to build or compile your customization plugins inside the extension DLL.
So the answer is both.
The answer is if you are an IC submitting for certification, it has to be compiled inside the DLL. If it's a one-time customization or a customer-specific customization, you can do you can choose any option of those two.
Okay, good. Thank you. That's an important distinction. All right, the next question is Jerry Welliver. If we extend an existing DAC, we should prefix it with the new prefix. So he's asking, should we use the new prefix? For example, extended sales order should be XS sales order extension, for instance.
Yeah, that's correct. And well, you do that to make sure your extension has a unique name. Yep. So yeah, you pasted that initials that you get from Acumatica to that name.
Yep. Brian Stevens asks, what should a customer use for initials when trying to be compliant in case we want to convert to be an ISV later? So I guess they're looking for some guidance on the initials that they would do if they decide to become a level 2 ADN ISV.
So basically right now requirements are from 2 to 4 letters, and Basically, I believe everyone uses some shortened name of their solution, like abbreviation. And well, if you want us to check if that initials are available, you can ask me or Ruslan, and we will check if anyone else uses that. So if not, you are free to use them, and when you became ADN level 2 member, you will just request us to register that initials to your solution.
Okay, and then Scott Murphy's asking when 2019 R1 is being released.
So it's in March.
Yep.
I can't name right now the exact date, but it's first half of March.
Yeah. So in the next couple of weeks, in other words, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yep. Yuri Zelatsky asks, recently I discovered that the customization plugin worked only as a C# code inside the customization. It didn't work inside the DLL. So he just wants validation on that.
Please report support case. If it's like that, we will fix that.
Okay, so Yuri, just get a support case going. Then he just follows up, will it change it? So we'll just ask that. Then Patrick Chen, this is the last question. So if there's any other questions you want to ask again. I have an extended DAC that is a table directly linked to a standard table. Do I need to append the prefix to each column in this separate table?
I guess since Dmitry keeps silent, this is a question for me. Okay, so all these prefixes for custom fields are required if you customize or alter the standard Acumatica table. If this is a table extension, meaning that you have your custom table, which works as an extension table for an Acumatica table, then you only need to prefix the table name.
Yep. All right, I believe that's all the questions. Thank you, Ruslan and Dmitry. Just a end note, if you will. If you have questions and you don't have a support contract, please visit our Stack Overflow site so you can go up and post questions on Stack Overflow. The other thing that I would ask of the community who's present here is it'd be nice, we would really appreciate if you visit Stack Overflow regularly and go through the questions. If you notice anything that's not answered and you happen to know the answer, please feel free to answer. It's a community site, that forum, if you will, that we ask that everyone in the community, whether we're Acumatica employees or partners or customers, that we participate, because we all help each other solve problems and build solutions. So just a little encouragement for you to go up on the Stack Overflow site. So again, thank you for attending the webinar. I will hopefully have this recorded session up in the next couple days. Have a great day. Bye-bye.